All right, this is Mr. Johnson. I think we're rolling now with the screen recorder, top secret software I had to put on my home computer so that I can show you some writing skills directly on the screen. My home computer is called Swappy because that's where I keep my little sweetie Swappy dog and my fleeky fluffy dog. All right, let's get to our writing. So we're going to be combining sentences today, but first of all, our objective is scholars, it's you guys, will be able to use commas and conjunctions to combine sentences and make their writing flow. So what do I mean by making writing flow? Well, I was thinking of like waterfalls and mud puddles, and I like this picture I found because your writing can get bogged down in stuff like snow and mud when you're repeating a lot of words and you're writing a lot down and you're saying the same thing twice, and you need to break that up so it flows, so your writing moves and gets to the point. So let's get to the point. So for example, I have all this yellow here. The artist uses. Why should I say that twice when I can put it together? This says here that, okay, let's highlight it. The example here says the artist uses blue to paint, and the artist uses pink to paint. Huh. Well, again, all this stuff in yellow, I can combine those. I can say it once. Why I shouldn't say it twice? So what's different is the blue, using blue to paint, and using pink to paint. So that's why I put together right here, the artist uses, that's yellow just once, the artist uses blue and pink to paint. Think of and like this. It's you're putting stuff together, it's like adding. Like 1 and 1 equal 2. Because you add one color here, it's going to make 2 colors here. All right, so this is not the example in your worksheet in my classroom, but this is what we're going to practice of. So as I showed you, I had the pictures of Sweetie on my home computer. And then it says Mr. Johnson has pictures of Fleeky on his home computer. So how would you combine those sentences? Notice that I have Mr. Johnson, all that's in yellow, same color twice. And then I have Sweetie in brown, Fleeky in blue. So when I say go, take 20 seconds to figure out how do you combine those sentences into one sentence using the conjunction and. Go. And you may unfreeze the video. All right. If you said that, oh, Mr. Johnson has pictures of, should just be written once. And then, well, I got to put together that Sweetie, and that Fleeky. So again, I'm taking Mr. Johnson here is called the subject. I'm the person doing the action, and the action is me having pictures of something. So Mr. Johnson has pictures, subject and verb, is going to be just once. And then I have 2 different objects, pictures of Sweetie, that's one dog, and pictures of Fleeky, that's the other dog. With and being the conjunction, conjunctions being words that put 2 things together, 2 sentences together. And then you want to finish the sentence on his home computer. And you just got to say that one once, because it's really the Sweetie and the Fleeky that's the difference, and I'm putting them together. All right, so the next one is the one you're going to try on your own. So let's go down to, making a list of 3 or more items with and commas. So my example is, it's straight out of Buffalo and really upstate New York. It's, what do I want for dinner? I always want like pizza and hot buffalo wings and celery. That's three things, right? Why would I want to say I would like, I would like, I would like? That would make me sound really greedy. So I'm just going to say it once. I would like, one, that's the blue, pizza. Two, that's the pink, wings. Three, that's the celery. I would like one, two, and three. The and always goes before the last word in the series, and here the highest number is three. So where does and go? Tell me. Yep, if you said it goes before the last word in the series, in this case the green word, that's it. And then for dinner, for dinner, for dinner. Yeah, just say it once, for dinner. Another example would be, well, if I were to say, okay, let's look at my table right now in my home office. I have a Sharpie on the table, I have a glass of water on the table, and I have paper on the table. How would you combine those? Think about it. Pause the video, write it down. All right. So now you've unpaused it, let's check our work. You would write something like, I have, first thing being a Sharpie, second thing being a glass of water, and the comma, and the third thing being paper. And I could say on my desk. All right. Well, let's show you some other examples. So this is what you're going to try on your own. And of course, you always write your combined sentences next to combined. So you have these lines. You can take more space if you need it. 4 shows different choices. So I might say, if you remember in the old days, if you're coming with 5 cards to get prize box, you could pick one thing. You could pick, maybe you could pick a Twizzlers, or you could pick Smarties. It's saying that there's a choice. So this example I got from Miss Allen, people might think the painting is peaceful. So there's an artist who made a painting, and maybe it's showing like an empty field or an empty forest. Is everyone going to think it's peaceful? Probably not. That's why I put some here. Some people might think the painting is peaceful. But then other people, maybe people like to be in the city around people. Other people might think the painting is lonely. So people could think either one way or the other. So I'm going to take the yellow. People might think the painting is, and what's the one adjective reason to describe it? Peaceful. Or the other way people could think is lonely. So here I have or being a conjunction between one option that people could think and another option. So the example relates to my prize box, and see if you can figure it out. Now, because is cause and effect. You notice the word cause is in because. So this is another example about an artist. Let's say they paint a picture of a dark street to make the audience feel lonely. Because I would say everyone would feel lonely in a dark road. So the artist is making a cause to make you feel a certain way, which is an effect. So the dark street feels so empty is the cause. And that's making you feel how? What's the effect? Well, looking at that's making me feel lonely. That's the effect. So the pattern we got to use is effect because cause. Say it. Effect because cause. Say it again. Effect because cause. So that means my effect, the painting seems lonely, is going to come first. Because is my conjunction. And then the cause, what makes the painting seem lonely, is the dark street seems so empty of life. So now the painting seems lonely because the dark street seems so empty of life. And then this is your example you're going to do. One last one is although. And this is a pretty tricky one. And actually, if you're a third grader watching this, don't worry about although. That's the fourth graders. What you're going to do is show contrast with this although and also pattern. So an example I mean, have you ever been like waiting for a bus or like the light rail and there was a lot of people at the station, but you didn't know any of them and you just felt alone, like maybe you weren't with anyone? So people may be standing together, but they're alone, and alone and together are opposites. So although and also will be used to contrast opposites. The people is the subject. That's going to be the yellow. We're going to put it together and only say it once. Although the people are together, that's one side of the opposite. They, and this time you're repeating the subject, but you're using a pronoun to repeat it. So they would be the pronoun for the people. If it was one person, which two pronouns could you use? Let's ask you that. If you said he or she, you're right. So again, the people are together, but they also seem alone. I just said but they, so that's another way to do it. The people, let's turn off this highlighter, are together, but they also seem alone. So although and but are very similar. You can say although the people are together, they also seem alone, or the people are together, but they also seem alone. And your example is going to be about a rapper who's rich and famous. Yes, they feel empty and sad. And I think every good rapper has a song with that theme. And make sure you share your favorites in the comments when you upload your assignment. All right, so this is Mr. Johnson signing out. Let's shut down this app and see if it's rolling. Catch you later, scholars. Journey onward.